And on top of the category page, we create introductory contextual material. So it's kind of a contextopedia. It's different from the Wikipedia in that we don't claim neutral point of view. We actually claim to have a specific perspective. And so we have about 15,000 pages of content on the wiki, which have been consulted. I think around 15 million page views so far. And we started in 2007. And I think the average growth rate would be around 50% per year on a fairly sustainable basis.
Yesterday, talking about this presentation, we were thinking about how to explain the main features and the main domains of the peer-to-peer learning to the Italian audience. And one of the main points that we were thinking about is the process of deinstitutionalization of knowledge. From this point of view, of course,
Yes.
peer-to-peer week and all the projects of the peer-to-peer foundation is a powerful tool. Can you?
Yes, I would say that the big change that we have today is the change from the dominance of formal learning to the dominance of informal learning, and from vertical relationships of learning to horizontal relationships of learning. And of course, those things exist in relation to each other. So the point is, I guess, that we are having some kind of diagonal society in which existing vertical association institutions try to compose with horizontal peer-to-peer dynamics. And this is, of course, is what we are researching. Now, I'm not sure that the concept of deinstitutionalization is totally correct, because in some ways I think peer-to-peer communities are also creating their own institutions, right? So if we create something like a general public license or the Creative Commons license, you could argue that this is actually some kind of institution. It's just a new form of institution which is adapted to the requirements of peer-to-peer communication and collaboration. Yeah, well, I think the big difference between institutionalized learning and informal learning is about credentialism, right? It's the fact that in the classic way, you need a priori credentials in order to participate in the building of knowledge, while in peer-to-peer learning, proven competence is enough. And the kind of filtering and quality selection processes are moved from the front to the back end, as it were. It's to the communal, but also through the scientific verification processes which take place after the contributions that you select for quality, and not up front. So I think it works a little bit like democracy, right? We had before democracy in politics, we had census-based and tax-based elections where only a few people were able to vote. And the universal suffrage made it possible for everybody to have input. And I think this is what we're doing in knowledge. Peer production is kind of the generalization of the democratic principle, not just to politics, but to life in general.
So, for example, Michel, something that could be possible. Do you think it could be possible to use peer-to-peer or open currencies as a way to make these peer-to-peer learning initiatives sustainable, and maybe use these currencies as a certificate of quality?
Well, it's certainly something that I'm following quite closely, but I must say right now, after 2-3 years of monitoring the space of open money, I'm still waiting for a convincing application.